Have you noticed it? The way One Direction reunion went from a fun fantasy to something that suddenly feels almost wrong to say out loud? For nearly a decade, the story was simple. It wasn't if they'd come back. It was always when. Then Liam died. And in what felt like the same breath, Tomlinson looked into a camera and said he can't imagine a reunion anymore. Harry Styles, meanwhile, went back to building his own universe. Films, fashion, and a quiet countdown to HS4. So what happened? How did losing one member turn the guaranteed comeback of pop into something that feels emotionally impossible? And why, when you put Lewis and Harry side by side, do they look like two completely different answers to the same loss? Stay with me, because to understand why a real reunion died with Liam, you have to start with the reunion that almost happened while he was still alive. The reunion that almost happened. Before Buenos Aires, there was a plan. Not a fan edit. Not a TikTok rumor. A real conversation. Multiple reports say that all 5 original members, Harry, Louis, Niall, Zayn and Liam, had been in talks to do one last reunion show. One night. One stage. One Direction, properly together, for the first time in years. And if you think Liam was just along for the ride, listen to how people described him. He wasn't just up for it. He was the one pushing the hardest.
Obviously tonight there's a lot of reunions happening. The choir was recently reunited.
Everybody else brought their friends, I'm here alone.
Exactly.
I'm gonna have to bring the boys on to come and do the rest of the... I know. No, I know. I don't know. I definitely think it will happen, but I think everyone's just enjoying their solo work at the moment, so... yeah, we'll see.
But is there a one for it? It's just in case of you.
Oh, I mean, I spoke to Louis just the other day, and we were saying so it's got to happen sooner than later. So that's my only update on that one.
For years, Liam was the loudest about wanting them back together. He joked about it on podcasts, teased it in interviews, kept telling fans he missed singing with the boys. Imagine being him in those meetings. The one who'd struggled so publicly. The one who'd been labeled Daddy Direction, the glue, the organizer. Finally seeing a way to put the story back together, properly. And then, October 16th, 2024. A balcony in Buenos Aires. A fall, a toxicology report, headlines that didn't feel real. The reunion didn't just get postponed. It evaporated. For fans, it was losing the boy they grew up with. For the band, it was losing the one person who wanted that one last night more than anyone. And that's why, when Lewis finally broke his silence about One Direction in 2025, his answer wasn't, "not yet." It was something much colder. Louis, the loyalist who can't go back. If One Direction has a historian, it's Louis Tomlinson. He remembers everything. The chaos, the cheap suits, the interviews at 6 a.m. when they'd had zero sleep. So, when he sat down for that long, vulnerable interview, the one where they had to ask about a reunion, fans expected the usual answer, never say never. Instead, he said this.
Look, there's now only 3 other people on the planet that can deeply understand my professional journey. Like, you never say never, right? But never, like, I can't ever imagine. I'm not sure it would be right to him. Like, say, sake of argument, 25 years time, it's like a fucking Oasis thing. They offer us an arm and a leg, and they're like, come back and do this many shows. I don't know. Yeah, I think it just completely put a pin in all of that. And the irony is, there was no one campaigning for One Direction to get back together more than Liam.
Listen to his wording. He doesn't say, maybe someday. He says he can't imagine it. He talks about Liam as a pillar of the band, the person who held so much of it together. In follow-up interviews, Louis went even further. He said losing Liam has put a pin in any reunion plans. That right now, he doesn't see it. The same Louis who used to say he believed they'd come back one day, always defended the band's legacy, and loved the idea of doing it properly, one more time. So what changed?
We all looked up to him. If we were, I don't think I would have been brave enough to say at that age when I was in the band. I think I would have had too much pride. But we all looked up to him massively for like the reasons that I just stated. You know, he was vastly experienced before any of us had done anything. he was also like the safest pair of hands, like in every sense of the word. So like vocally, interview, music video, you know, like whatever it would be, and he'd be like working and doing it, like he would always be the safest pair of hands, where you maybe have me and Zayn in the back, like either smoking a joint or doing something stupid. Liam would always have his eye on the ball.
For Louis, Liam wasn't just a bandmate. He was the steady point in the storm. The one who took charge when everything got too big. The one who held the center so everyone else could spin. Performing as One Direction without that person doesn't feel like honoring him. It feels like rewriting him out of his own story. In Louis' mind, the equation is simple. No Liam, no real One Direction. And if it's not truly One Direction, then what are you reuniting? A logo? A playlist? A nostalgia tour designed by people who weren't there? For Louis, that crosses a line. He's not just protecting the band name. He's protecting Liam's place in it. But here's where this gets uncomfortable. While Louis is drawing a hard emotional boundary, Harry is quietly choosing a completely different path through the same grief. To understand why Louis and Harry react so differently, you have to step outside the fandom for a second and talk about grief.
So an intuitive griever needs to grieve by exploring and processing these feelings, mostly outwardly, and they're very strong, intense feelings. I often see this in husbands and wives who have lost a child, and they're grieving so differently that unfortunately the marriage doesn't last because they can't find a way to grieve together, and yet they are the only two that really know what they're feeling. An instrumental griever is still grieving. They're just grieving cognitively and inwardly and trying to solve it as a problem, right? Here's a problem. I've lost my child, or I've lost my spouse. I have a significant loss in my life. How can I fix that?
After a traumatic loss, some people feel they have to protect the past. Others cope by moving forward and building something new. Both are valid responses to grief. That's exactly the split you're about to see. Louis, who can't stand the idea of a reunion that feels incomplete. And Harry, who chooses to honor the past by refusing to live inside it forever. Harry, the star who won't live in reverse. When Liam died, Harry did what millions of us did. He opened Instagram and tried to find words.
Harry Styles speaking out following the untimely death of his One Direction bandmate, Liam Payne.
I can't describe him, mate. It means a lot more with all these guys around as well.
The singer honoring his friend on Instagram with a moving message, sharing how truly devastated he is. His greatest joy was making other people happy, and it was an honor to be alongside him as he did it. And had an energy for life that was infectious. He was warm, supportive, and incredibly loving. The years we spent together will forever remain among the most cherished years of my life.
He showed up at the memorial. He stood next to the other boys in that old church, saying goodbye to the kid he once shared bunk beds and backstage hallways with. And then, he kept moving. Within months, Harry was fronting a new pleasing collection, shooting campaigns, quietly crafting the next album era. Here's the crucial part. Harry has never promised a reunion. He's never been the one saying, "We're definitely coming back." If anything, he's always treated One Direction as something beautiful that happened on the way to becoming who he is now. So when Liam died, it didn't suddenly flip a switch like it did for Louis. For Harry, the loss is huge, personal, painful, but it doesn't change the destination he's already walking toward.
People may not always express their grief in the same manner. You may be really unhappy, but a close family member may appear unaffected, and it's easy to believe that they don't care. However, we cope with grief in our own unique way, even if we're sharing the same loss. And sometimes this can lead to frustration, disappointment, and resentment as we judge the way someone else is grieving or someone is judging the way we're grieving. Grief might be compared to snowflakes or fingerprints. Each person's grief is unique and personal.
Neither of them is wrong. They're just standing on opposite sides of the same loss. And caught between those two truths is you. Because the reunion you've been dreaming about is starting to look less like a concert and more like something else entirely. The reunion that doesn't look like a reunion. Here's where the story flips. While everyone was hashtagging 1D reunion when two names quietly signed a different kind of contract. Tomlinson, Zayn Malik, the boy who left in 2015, and the boy who stayed until the end, coming back together for a Netflix road trip docuseries about friendship, fatherhood, and everything that happened after the band.
Former One Direction stars Louis Tomlinson and Zayn Malik are reuniting for a new project. The Hollywood Reporter has confirmed that the pair is teamed up for a U.S. road trip documentary series for Netflix. The three-part series will be directed by Nicola Marsh, who also helmed the Demi Lovato documentary Child Star. It's likely to launch on Netflix in 2026.
On paper, it's not a band reunion. Number 5-piece harmonies. No stadiums. No 1D logo. But emotionally, it absolutely is a reunion. Two men who once drifted apart, sharing a car, talking about the one member who will never be there again. At the same time, bookmakers give a full One Direction comeback around 8-1 odds. Basically, possible, but don't count on it. The industry is already pivoting. Instead of one huge, perfect reunion night, you get smaller, messier, more honest reunions. Louis and Zayn on Netflix. Niall and Louis sharing stages. Harry's tributes slipped into his solo shows. They're giving you the emotion of a reunion without ever standing five in a line and pretending it's the same. For Louis, that's the only way this can feel respectful. For Harry, it's the only way it can feel real. So if a real reunion is impossible, what are fans supposed to do with 10 years of hope? What no real reunion means for fans? Let's be honest. For a lot of Directioners, the reunion was never just about tickets. It was a fix-it fantasy. A way to believe that every bad headline, every awkward interview, every breakup would eventually be healed by 5 microphones and a final chorus. Liam's death shattered that fantasy. You can't fix everything with a tour. When the person who wanted that night the most isn't here to see it. Louis is the one saying that out loud. By refusing to slap the One Direction name on something incomplete, he's forcing the world to admit that some stories don't get tidy endings. Harry is showing you another truth. Sometimes the most honest way to honor what you had is not to restage it, but to build something new it made possible.
Living forward means you've accepted the reality of your loved one's death. That is not the same as forgetting. Healing is not about forgetting their loved ones, but remembering them well. Finding ways to honor them while living forward is going to allow you to keep your loved one's memory as part of you. You can look toward the future, realizing that the person who died will never be forgotten.
So when you see the title, Louis versus Harry, inside the One Direction curse after Liam, it isn't about them fighting. It's about two truths colliding. A reunion with all 5 is physically impossible. A reunion without Liam may be emotionally unacceptable. Once you accept that, the question changes. It's no longer, when will they get back together? It becomes, how do I stay connected to them now that the story can't end how I wanted? Maybe it's watching Louis and Zayn finally talk about things 21-year-old them never could. Maybe it's waiting for the night Harry slips one line about Liam into a stadium song and 70,000 people just know. Maybe it's pressing play on the old albums with a different kind of respect for the boy who quietly carried more than anyone realized. Whatever it looks like, it won't be a perfect fix. It won't be 5 silhouettes against a stadium light. But maybe that's the most honest ending this story could ever have. Not a glittering reunion, but 5 lives and 1 legacy, still shaping you long after the band itself is gone. Your turn to speak. If this helped you see their story differently, tell me in the comments which part of Louis or Harry's reaction you relate to most. The instinct to protect the past, or the need to keep moving forward.